Welcome to Casualwatergolf. Apologies, I haven't been on here in a while. This year I decided to play competitive golf or try and get really low, and it's taken up a lot of my time. However, I am back and dedicated to bringing you weekly content. Today's video is going to be about the LIV Tour, why it's causing so much tension and how it compares to the PGA Tour. So if you're interested, keep on watching. So without further ado, the LIV Tour is a golf circuit sponsored by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which is overseen by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And it is quite different to the traditional PGA Tour events. What are the key differences?
It's a franchise-style circuit currently made up of 12 teams with individual and team prizes. All the teams and their captains are shown on the screen now.
It is a stroke play event played over 3 days. That's 54 holes, shotgun start with no cut. Shotgun start means all the players tee off at the same time on different holes. What that means is you sometimes get players complain in PGA Tour events that when I started the weather wasn't great. That eliminates all that. That means everyone tees off at the same time in the exact same weather conditions. So you can't fault that. It currently has only 8 events all year, so players that do participate in the LIV Tour supposedly get to spend more time with their family. I think that's a good thing. Now let's talk about the big one, prize money. For those of you that haven't seen my video on how much professional golfers make on the PGA Tour, click on the link now and go check it out. It really puts things into perspective here. Now, at the recently held LIV Tour event at the Centurion Golf Club in London, the first prize, which went to Charles Schwartzel, he picked up a miserly $4 million. It's not a lot of money in my opinion. $4 million for 3 days work, yes. Now, the guy that came in second, there's an interesting story behind this. I think his biggest paycheck, Henny Duplessis, I think his biggest paycheck was about 200 grand. In this event alone, he took home $2.1 million for second place. Oh. Now, this is why it really is causing a bit of tension in here, but for second place, not a bad payout. The last place in these events, last place you get $125,000 for 3 days work. Not a bad life for a professional golfer. Based on what I've just told you, everyone can see the allure of wanting to play on the LIV Tour. I mean, for the guys like Westwood and Poulter that are well into their years, let's face it, over the next 5 years, they're not going to win $20 million on the PGA Tour. They're getting paid this money upfront, maybe a 2-3 year commitment. It's a nice little retirement package in my opinion, maybe if they want to go play the seniors tour or anything, but I can see why they would want to go on there. The more interesting thing is why the PGA Tour has taken such a hard stance on it. They've gone as far as suspending the players who have participated in the LIV Tour event held in Centurion Golf Club. Now, why have they done that, and why is there somewhat of a threat to the PGA Tour? The first one on the list, I think, is the image rights issue, because I'm not too sure, but from what I've seen and read, every shot, hit, pictures, everything is owned by the PGA Tour. So what happens if you have a PGA Tour affiliated member now going on the LIV Tour, and the LIV Tour are reusing your videos and everything? It gets really complicated. Now, you must understand that the PGA Tour and the DP Tour, which is the European Tour, have a partnership. They're like sister tours. They go back way in time, and they have a mutual understanding of how they operate. So the LIV Tour coming in and disrupting this is a bit of an issue. The second one is most of the sponsors on the PGA Tour pay lots of money. I mean, it's a really massive deal to host a big tournament where the top 50 in the world come and play. What happens when you start to clash with these tournaments on the PGA Tour? The PGA Tour have had a monopoly on golf for a lot of years. But if you think about it now, for example, at the Centurion, or the first LIV Golf event at the Centurion Golf Club was held on the same weekend as the RBC Canadian Open. And Dustin Johnson is sponsored by RBC Canada, but he decided to play in the LIV Tour. And it gets really complicated. What happens? You're taking away most of their prized possessions, which are the players. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds, because I do actually think that there will be a lawsuit or a legal battle, because a PGA Tour, for some of them, or the PGA Tour members, they consider themselves as contractors. Now, there is a human rights and ethical side to this, as this is a tour 100% backed or sponsored by the Saudis, especially with what happened to the journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Some see this as morally wrong and think that a tour or tournament sponsored or backed by such sponsors should not be promoted. What players have signed up to play for the LIV Tour? Now, a bunch of them have signed up. You've got Phil Mickelson, you've got Kevin Na, you've got Dustin Johnson, you've got Graham McDowell, Charles Schwartzel, you also have Ian Poulter, and I think Bryson DeChambeau's just signed up. He hasn't played in anything yet, so at the second event or before the second event, I wonder if he'll change his mind, but he signed up. Those are some of the big names that are now playing on the LIV Tour. Here's a full list of the players that have committed. Here's a link, you can go check them out. But they've got some decent players on there, and it seems to be growing. Penalties for playing on the LIV Tour. This is a bit of a strange one, and I think this is going to go on for months. So players such as Dustin Johnson and Kevin Na have resigned from the PGA Tour, because let's face it, if I'm not affiliated to the PGA Tour, you can't punish me for playing on the LIV Tour and any other event. Some say that golfers should be independent contractors, and others say, look, the PGA Tour has done so much for these guys. For example, the pension fund on the PGA Tour is the best in industry. It's not just best in sports. They are set for life even after they finish playing competitive golf. And if they've done all this for so many years, for someone else to come and take their prized possessions away, which is their players, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, right? Now, Greg Norman is doing a lot for the LIV Tour, promoting awareness, bringing a different approach to golf, but some see him as being blind to everything that's happening and just looking at the cash side of things, because let's face it, he must get compensated in some way, being the face of all this. But again, it's very different. Now the PGA Tour is saying the players are suspended. What does the suspension mean? More importantly, what does that mean for the majors? Because the US Open, which is holding this week, basically have said, if you play on the LIV Tour, it doesn't matter this year. What happens next year? Also, when it comes to the world ranking points, if you play in the LIV Tour, do you get points towards that? I know they've already said that if you play on the LIV Tour, it doesn't count towards the Ryder Cup. So the likes of Poulter, Westwood, DJ, they've just taken themselves out. But I see this as an ongoing legal battle, and there's more to come on this story. With that being said, the LIV Tour looks like an exciting format, team events, no cuts, 54 holes. If it promotes and grows the game of golf, do we care? There's an ethical side. I have no views. I'm just explaining to you guys what it means. It would be interesting to get your thoughts. What do you think is the bad side of the LIV Tour? Do you think there are any benefits to having it? Leave your comments down in the comment section, and I look forward to reading them and responding. But for now, that's a quick summary of what the LIV Tour is and how it stacks up against the PGA Tour. Thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and look forward to bringing you more content. Cheers, guys.